All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first live recording of Doc Who Pod. I am Josh. Nice to meet you all at last. I'm with my co-host, JP. How are you, Jack?
I'm good. Brad couldn't join us this week. He would be sat here. I'd be over here. But no, Brad couldn't join us this week. So apologies he's not here for the very first live video recording.
He's camera shy, bless him.
He's camera shy. Yeah, we'll get him on
eventually. Yeah, exactly. If you're listening to us on your favourite podcast choice, of course, you don't know what the fuck we're talking about. This is simply for the YouTubes and our hardcore fans. So, welcome. Today we're reviewing the best episode of Doctor Who, Voyage of the Damned. JP, before we jump in a word.
Over dramatic?
What?
Seriously,
it's the what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't really all that. It wasn't the worst. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say it was the worst, but I wouldn't say it was the best.
Would you allow me 2 words to describe this?
Yeah, go on. You can have them.
Doctor Who. This is the most Doctor Who episode that has ever existed. It has everything. Action, adventure, little bit of horror, mystery, space, a budget, a companion. Not just a companion. Kylie fucking Minogue.
You know the worst thing is?
Go on.
I didn't recognise it was Kylie Minogue until Kylie Minogue.
She does look a bit odd in it, but I reckon, for me, this would have been, 2008, I think? 2007, 2008?
Yeah.
I think this is when puberty started for me.
You mean Kylie Minogue awoke something in you, and then you went back and watched Billy Piper, and you were like,
yeah, exactly. How spoiled are we as kids to have Billy Piper on our screen? Bree Maragiman, she's fit enough. Not my type, but she's fit enough. Kylie Minogue, oh my God, we've had a good run of companions.
Yeah, I was. I mean, obviously, I kind of clocked it straight away. The BBC budget obviously didn't accommodate for Kylie Minogue to be a permanent, should we say, which did break my heart a little bit because I was like, she was actually quite a good player. I've got to say, she was kind of like that bubbly, energetic, and I'm like, I could see that working, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. The BBC and Kylie Minogue's agents couldn't make it work. They couldn't get around the fire, or get around the table. But I will say that she was a brilliant companion. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we'll absolutely dive in and talk about it, but all of the cast in this episode is great. But anyway, I mean, we normally jump into Who News here. I don't have anything for Who News, JP. Have you got anything you'd like to say?
Just had something come through on Twitter, or X as it's called. Apparently they have the BBC and Disney Plus have released new artwork promoting the first series of Doctor Who coming in May 2024.
Oh, yes. No, really they've released a new poster thing. Yeah, it looks all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. I mean, to be honest, I'm not caught up yet, so I have no comment whatsoever, apart from it's coming May 2024, which seems a long time away, but as we were discussing off air, it's really not that far away, is it?
It's 3 months. That's insane. It's 3 months.
3 months. Yeah, that's scary.
But anyway, anything else to add before we jump in, JP?
No, not for Doctor Who News. Insert bulletin here. I can do that now.
We can. Well, you could do it as if you ever edit the fucking videos.
Yeah, well, as I say, I don't. I'm not clever enough to. As everybody saw, by the way, by the one that I edited.
I can't wait for this audio. You're just going to have a penis above your head the entire time. For the first 5 minutes, no one's going to know why until this point.
Yeah. To be honest, the thing is when I edited, I actually had to put on Twitter a pre-apology for how bad it was. So
Did you really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Lovely. So that wraps up Who News. Now we move on to Voyage of the Damned. I think the best place to start off, you've already slightly mentioned it when I was talking about Kylie Minogue, budget. You can tell immediately the budget for this episode is 10 times probably what the entire last series was.
Yeah, they obviously they sat down and had a big meeting and they went, right, this Christmas special, excuse the pun, but let's push the boat out. But that's it. I mean, let's have a look. The runtime to begin with was quite lengthy. I'd say it's slightly longer than Doctor than a normal, kind of Christmas special.
Yeah.
The special effects. I mean, even the exterior shots of the Titanic, kind of going around the planet.
Amazing, right? Amazing.
Yeah, like that's going to cost money as well. You've got Mr. Oh, I put it down here somewhere. Where is he?
Copper?
No, Banner Capalata. Mr. Banner Capalata.
Yeah.
Of course, that's going to cost money to get him in, kind of costume and, with the cyborgs. Of course, you've got to hire a midget as well. They're not cheap, No.
Well, of all people as well, do you know who that is?
He was in Star Wars and he played. I recognised him. Oh, who did he play? He was in the Phantom Menace, wasn't he, or something? It wasn't Warwick Davis.
Not Warwick Davis. No, I don't know about Phantom Menace, but he is now. He's new R2D2.
Oh, okay. I'm sure I saw. I'm sure I've seen him somewhere else as well. But you can tell they've pushed the budget out big time.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty big for a midget. So there's two antagonists, I suppose. You've got the host. What did you think of them first?
Yeah, I mean, creepy, I guess, because it's kind of the same with the Lazarus experiment. When the actual monster, when Dr. Lazarus becomes the monster, it's that kind of uncanny valley. Uncanny valley, isn't it? Where you can see they've got human features and they've got a nose, 2 eyes, ears, and everything. But you look at them and you think, no, that's not right. I don't like it.
There's one point where I think one of them gets knocked or something, and it's like its jaw sort of.
Yes, when they drop the debris, when he's got the debris up, and then he drops it, when the doctor goes through, and then squishes it.
Yeah, well, there's that, but then there's another bit where it's just talking normally. I think the doctor might. It's the one that falls on the CGI platform thing that looks like a PlayStation game. To be fair, when Banner Capalata EMPs them,
does his EMP thing? Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But one of the like I could have a stroke or something. Yeah, very odd.
This is Sunday morning after a Saturday night out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
his jaw's all out of place.
Interesting though to have angel antagonists in the same series as Blink. I thought because I always forget about these. The hosts, like they're so not memorable. What an interesting design choice to make them angels. Like I just think that's quite.
Yeah. I guess there's two things. One, to kind of comment on, kind of danger coming from unexpected places, I guess. Because the host being, the host, that's it, you wouldn't expect them to turn and then suddenly kill all the witnesses. And two, I think that for a timepiece, I think if the Titanic in our, in the actual world and everything, if the Titanic had hosts, I reckon they probably could have been like them. Because let's be real, if you've got a statue of an angel or something like that, that's a symbol of power and wealth. So let's be real.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got I don't know how many of them, they said there was 80 or something like that, 80. If
something
you've got a lot,
there's
obviously, you're obviously a pretty kind of big baller. And I think that's quite cool.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. And talking of big ballers, the other antagonist of this story, Max Capricorn. What are your thoughts on that? Fascinating.
I said he looks like a bald Howard Stark.
Okay, yeah.
I could tell it straight away when he's doing his little video thing. I was like, he is dodgy. He's obviously the main villain.
Did you not? So I'd forgotten how obvious it was that he's bad. Like in my head, I'm like, are they going for a double bluff sort of thing? Do you know what I mean? Like he's so obviously bad. Surely he can't be the bad guy.
Yeah, no. I to be honest, I didn't. I was the other way around. I saw him being the bad guy. I didn't see the hosts being the kind of secondary bad guy, even though he was controlling the hosts. But it's just he still smiled, and I'm like, nah, that's dodgy. It's not.
Just immediately as sleazeball. I absolutely love the fact that this entire episode is just an insurance job, basically, and just to try and cripple the board members. That's literally all it is.
I'd tell you what I didn't see though. I didn't see him ended up in like a fucking box on wheels. Like, nice. Didn't see that.
I'm fascinated because there's a whole sort of undercurrent of cyborg racism basically in this episode. And I'm just trying to work out why make him a cyborg. Like, what does that add to the plot other than you can lift him up with the forklift? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's very interesting because I also have notes on that further down the line as well. So we will cross that bridge when we get to it.
The Doctor, he doesn't know what's going on. He works out it's the Titanic. He goes and has a little wander around. What does he do? Let's whip out the tux and have a fucking party.
I love that. I actually put a note saying I like the fact that the Doctor just rolls with it. You know, he's the TARDIS has crashed through his. The Titanic has crashed through the TARDIS. Yeah. He then repairs it and then puts the TARDIS in the Titanic and then goes, "Yeah, fuck it, why not? I'm just going to go for a bite," which I really like, and I think that's probably testament to the Doctor's character. The Doctor never, or at least from what we've seen, or what I've seen, the Doctor never specifically goes to a point. He always just ends up at a point. And then that's where him just walking around, having a look, seeing what's up, that's what causes him to find, I don't know, a monster, an alien, someone missing. That's just the way the Doctor is. He just rolls it, which I really like. I think that was a good play to his character.
No, for sure. Speaking of his character, though, I couldn't picture Christopher Eccleston in this episode. And I think he's one of the first times that this has happened. But yeah, I could not imagine Christopher Eccleston whacking on a tux and going, just having this adventure. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. That's not his Doctor's character. I mean, he would, I think with that Eccleston, like with Eccleston's Doctor, I think he'd probably go and find the captain of the ship to find out what happened.
Yeah, he'd better take them on. Yeah, he'd have less fun with it, for sure. Yeah, I think so.
That's it. Rather than the Doctor just going, "Oh, it's a party. I'm just going to go party." Just have a mingle around, have a look who's who. And yeah, that's it. I think Christopher Eccleston's Doctor would have straight to the breach, "Are you the captain? What's going on? Where are we?" That's it. But I then like the next kind of the next shot of the party because it's an establishing shot. So you meet all of the characters who are then going to be in essence the main characters. You meet them all at the same time. So Banner you meet Marvin and Foon, you meet Rix and Slade, and you meet what's the old guy's name? I can't remember the old guy. Well,
Mr. Copper.
Of course. Mr. Copper, that's it. So you meet all five sets of main characters there, and I think that it's quite a nice thing because it shows how the Doctor has just put his stamp on each of those characters in the short space. Because we have seen those characters as long as the Doctor has seen them. So it just kind of, I don't know, it ties it nicely.
It's a nice establishing shot, like you said. Yeah, it makes it all feel a little bit real and interconnected, like it could. Like these people are going to bump into each other, and it makes sense for them to. Yeah,
exactly. And I quite like that. And again, the whole thing with Astrid, where he's really nice to her, and old Richard Stade's like, "Oh, well, that's coming out of your wages," and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, man. Let me give you a hat."
I do like that, but also, who the fuck is being rude to Kylie Minogue? Waitress or not? Do you know what I mean? Who is being rude to a waitress that looks like Kylie Minogue?
But they don't see her as Kylie Minogue. They see her as a waitress, which unfortunately there are people like it, and especially kind of on what I would assume is in that setting. There's bound to be. I'm not saying every rich person's an arsehole, but let's be real. There are probably a fair few people that would go, "Well, I don't see the problem. They spilt stuff over me. What's that?"
Yeah.
But of course, the introduction to Marvin and Foon is quite interesting as well because they say fancy dress, but that's not fancy dress.
And if it was fancy dress, poor fucking effort is all I'm gonna say. Yeah, like come on.
That effort. Yeah, no, I agree.
What do you think of? I don't think is it Marvin. I think it's like a space version of Marvin. Yeah, but what do you think of it? He's obviously of Tracy Beaker fame. I can't remember what his name is, but he's one of the parents from Tracy Beaker, right?
Yeah. They're interested. I think they're. I mean, I've confession time. I've never seen Titanic. There we go. There's another confession here.
I'm just going to pause for the booing, is what's happening right now.
Yes. I've never seen Titanic. It doesn't really interest me. Yeah. So I don't know if there were two lovable, down-to-earth characters on the Titanic, or like a group of lovable, down-to-earth characters, and there was someone who was a secret person. Well, I get the point that the Doctor is the stowaway, so that's Leonardo DiCaprio, and Astrid is the bird, whose name
Kate Winslet.
Yep. I get that, but then I don't know if there is a rich arsehole on the Titanic as well that tries to screw them all over.
Well, funny enough, this is not the plot of Titanic. This is the Poseidon Adventure. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Well, where it rolls on its side, isn't it?
Yeah, it flips over, and then there's a group of people, the two lovable ones, the rich arsehole. They all have to make their way from the top, which is now the bottom, to the bottom, which is now the top. So this is Titanic in namesake only. And obviously you've got the rich upper class, and then you've got there's a few, but it's 100% more accurate to the Poseidon Adventure than it is to Titanic, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that makes more sense, to be honest. I did think that I thought the Titanic was the lead up to the sinking. Then it sunk at the end, and that was it. But
no, the Titanic's like fucking an hour of lead up, then an hour of crashing, and then an hour of drowning, basically. I don't like the Titanic.
I was expecting that was how Kylie Minogue was going to go out.
Really?
I genuinely thought they were going to have some kind of because, of course, I've not seen the Titanic, but I know how it ends. I know there was, the people have scientifically worked out that there was space for two of them on there. I genuinely thought it was going to be some kind of, there was only enough oxygen in the room for one, so she jettisons herself out, or something like that. I genuinely thought that was how it was going to end.
Well, you're not miles off, to be fair. She does sacrifice herself, but we are jumping ahead a little bit.
We are. Yeah.
Morvin and Thune, like them?
Yeah, I mean, as the episode goes on towards more their deaths, should we say, it did get a little bit slapstick for my liking. I feel like they done day. Well, maybe not Thune, but Morvin, definitely. They literally had he's fat, he length of the thing, and he fell off.
I think they're perfectly done. They're sort of comic relief, but they're not really comic relief. I love the whole thing about they won it in a competition, but it cost them 5,000 credits to win it in a competition. Like, all of that, I fucking love. Genuinely as well. And again, we're jumping in a little bit. Morvin, his death completely took me by surprise. Did it get you?
Well, yeah, I think yes and no. Yes, because it's the first death of the group. So then suddenly it's like, well, hold on a minute. This lovable character that you've got to know over the past 20, 25 minutes, he's gone. That's it. Anyone's up for grabs now. Anybody can die. And I think that's kind of where I was so surprised how quickly they killed off people.
Yeah, it does stuff going, didn't it?
I wasn't surprised that they killed him off, because I was like, well, I jokingly said to Brad, I said, is this it where like the last one standing becomes the Doctor's companion?
A battle royale, yeah.
It's literally like a battle royale, the survival of the fittest, But I was surprised that because Morvin falls off the thing. Then,
but that to me is just so out of the blue and so and it's not even a host that kills him. He's too fat for the ground apparently, and he's gone.
That is what happens when you're 5,000 credits in debt. All right, you take the time to over there because there's no debt in heaven.
That was a very good point.
That's why he wasn't worried about it. He's like, well, it's your fucking problem. Stop. I know.
He had his exit plan sorted.
That's why he was laughing. It wasn't a comedy laugh. It was a joke of like insanity laugh. It was just like, oh, that's a dreadful joke to make. I'm sorry, but no, it's they kill it. So he falls off, and then Banakafalatus just detonates.
Just gives up. Yeah,
it just detonates. That's it. And then of course Thune then absolute fucking Leroy Jenkins it off the edge. Which we'll get there because I've got some brilliant fucking notes. But no, so yeah, I quite like them. So we make Morgan and Thune. And then, of course, we go to what is probably my favourite part of the episode, where they go down to Earth.
Ah, okay. Well, why?
It makes sense, right? You've had 3 alien invasions in a row. Oh, he's gone now. He's gone. You got three alien invasions in a row, right? And let's be real, they've all happened in London. It's Christmas time. You'd have to leave London. Like that was, to me, that's what I'd do. It just makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. You would 100%. If you lived in this Doctor Who universe at this time, you'd be getting the fuck out of London.
Oh, you'd be like, London is a bad time for Christmas.
Isn't it just? What did you think of the little old man that stayed behind?
He's quite sweet, actually. Good, very sweet. Probably voted for Brexit. I'm not gonna lie. I get a feeling one of those. Yeah. Somewhere there's a pub with a story with him being some kind of a football hooligan or something like that.
So we may or may not see that character again. The actor that played him died late last year. And I was just thinking to my head, it's sad that, last year we lost him, we lost the Queen. And I was like, I wonder who else in this episode has died. So the old man in the concession stand that stayed around London. Obviously, the Queen has died. Mr. Copper, he died. The captain, dead. Quite a few people have not lived long after this episode.
It's a real life Titanic episode. This is bloody hell.
Go on. Please take it away.
I was going to say, talking to Mr. Copper, I loved a little bit of dialogue just before they go down to Earth. And he says about a god of Santa who has big claws, went to war with turkeys, they start boxing. I love that because it's right on the tip of my tongue. There's something that I was watching something the other day, and they did a similar thing about like Christmas like traditions and everything like that being very strange. And when you think about it, they are very strange. I mean, the fact that we get a dead tree, put it up in the living room, and decorate it with shiny things. Now, to us, we go, well, we do that because it's Christmas. But why do you do that?
Where does that come from? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
what is it? Because Finland gave us a tree once upon a time, right? So now we always do it. Something odd like that. No. I love the whole idea that, there is probably a university degree out there in earthonomics or whatever they call it. And some people are going to be fucking shit at it. When I try and speak German, I'm not fucking speaking German. I'm butchering it. Do you know what I mean? Brilliant humor. Yeah. And just constantly throughout, they don't overdo it, which I was worried about rewatching it. I was like, is it going to be too much? I think it's a really, really good level of humor. Going back to them landing on Earth, how interesting is it? Because we always get it from the companion's point of view, landing on an alien planet. How cool is it seeing Kylie Minogue's reaction to Earth? And even the Doctor just being like, it's just a street. What the fuck are you talking about? But it's blown her away. I fucking love that.
I also like that. And it's the same reason, because I love travelling. I didn't manage to go far last year. I mean, all the way to Dublin for a long weekend, which I was not sober for. But I love travelling. And my favourite thing about travelling is going into a new place. You're like, wow, that's a shop. That's a different shaped ambulance. That's a different shaped taxi. Yeah. Wow, they're driving on the right side of the road. It's all stuff like that that's new to you. And it's like, I work in London. The amount of people that I nearly walk into the back of because they're taking a picture of the fucking traffic lights or something like that. Yeah. And you're like, why are you taking a picture of the traffic lights? And they're like, because it's London traffic lights. And you're like, oh yeah, I see them every day. And then it's vice versa. People taking pictures of Times Square in New York for you in the Burj Khalifa.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stuff
exactly.
like that you see every day. You just take it for granted. You're like, it's there. But if you're in that new location, like you're saying, kind of looks like, wow, this is a street. And the Doctor's like, well, yeah, it's the street. And I really like that, because even though that they are alien, well, they're technically aliens, it's a genuine response. And it's a response that we can relate to as well, which, again, kind of pulls the viewer into kind of a sense of safety And then when they finally kill him off, it's like, oh no, but the street, like, it's that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, I really like it.
Yeah, no, it is pretty cool. For just a little old man running a newsagent, he can keep it very cool when people just vanish in front of him.
Well, I mean, he did go on a little rant that was then cut off, didn't it? So he then starts going, oh, not again, or something like that. And then it cuts back.
But if someone teleported in front of you, I don't know what I'd do. I'd fucking shit a brick.
I'd probably ask him to go with him.
This is also true. Yeah, I mean, brilliant little bit. And then we're back onto the Titanic, and the captain has let all of these old fogies go off and have a dab of whiskey or whatever it is that he says. And the young kid is like, no, 2 men have to be manning the bridge. And there's an incoming meteor storm of 3 meteors. I'm not sure what the actual number is to qualify a storm, but 3 sounds small.
I mean, look, I don't know. I guess there was 3 big ones, because there's never going to just be 3 solid objects. You're going to have like splinters and everything like that. So maybe there was 3. But I don't know. I mean, what's a meteor, a shower? What's the difference between a storm and a shower?
That's a very good point. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe shower too.
Yeah, no, maybe. Well, a shower is going to be less than a storm.
Yeah. So just the meteor on its own is 1. Shower is 2. Storm is 3. Fuck knows what 4 is.
I don't know. But anyway, then there's yeah. And I just want to comment as well. The set of the Titanic is fucking brilliant. Like the bit where Tennant is he's working out that the shields are down. He's working out that there's a meteor storm incoming. All of that genuinely suspenseful. All the extras are doing an amazing job. Even the little band that they have playing as well. Love all of that. Yeah. And he works it out, and he's dragged off. He's called crazy, basically. And that little bit, just watching him being dragged out. Kylie Minogue obviously is like, no, I'm running after this guy. Marvin and Thune, and then all of a sudden, Rixton, the biggest fucking arsehole in the world. We'll talk about that in a minute. I just love watching them all slowly be drawn out of that main room. Then catastrophe hits. And, we've spoken about this before, where I think you said they do it in Star Trek. You just have the actors throw themselves around and then the camera moves in post. Considering that's all this is, it looks fucking awesome. It's so good.
They've done a good job. And this is what we were saying right at the start of the episode, and the fact that you can tell that they had just freedom with the budget. Obviously, there was a budget. They couldn't just go, just fuck it, do however much it costs. But you could tell that they had more of a budget than they normally do with the actual series. Yeah. Which is it just shows. It really does show. I mean, no offense to the extras and everything like that, but I'm assuming that they got on board kind of actual qualified extras rather than just 20 people that signed up that had kind of some kind of experience acting. They've got actual qualified extras that specialize in that kind of stuff.
They wouldn't have been hiring Darren on that day. We'll edit that out. So then we get, like you said, our rapid fire deaths. We just get the 2 security guards, then immediately the steward gets sucked out, and then we are left with our core cast. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say that was an interesting one, because I've always said about the Doctor just rushes off into places. He's very lucky that he's not come proper. He's not opened the door in his steam, or that happened, and I was like, there you go. That's why you don't rush.
Learn a lesson, Doctor.
Yeah, but I like how the Doctor actually went, no, wait, as if to say, hold on a minute. So does the Doctor have a sixth sense? Like, he just has X-ray visuals? Or some kind of...
I don't know if he could work it out that, like, that room would have depressurized or something like... But maybe he does. So Peter Capaldi has a theory that the Doctor can see all of time and space. And he is just inserting himself in and just having fun with it and just going with it. So he is sort of omniscient. But I don't actually know if I agree with him on that. I think he's just he Sherlocked it, and he was just like, "There's clearly been some decompression behind there. Don't fucking open that door." But yeah, he's just gone, absolutely just gone. And
I was gonna say, my favourite thing is they obviously look. They show the shot outside of the chief steward slowly drifting off, and there's a couple of bodies. And Kylie Minogue just goes, "How many do you think are dead?" And the doctor's supposed to go, "1, 2." What did she expect? Like, that's such a stupid fucking question. It's like, well, I don't know.
Look, you count. I've got things to do.
Yeah, at least 3. There's 3 there. One's just gone out. One's on the floor there. Like, I don't know. It was just such a. It just made me chuckle. It was just like, it was such. It's a fucking. I can say this because I am blonde, but it's such a blonde question. It's unbelievable. You just.
It is quite funny. Yeah. Who cares as well? And then speaking of seeing the dead bodies floating around, you just see the TARDIS slowly drifting off to the.
That was predictable.
To the. But again, this is why I think this is the perfect episode of Doctor Who, because a TARDIS-like story are some of the best stories. I've just written down a couple here: Impossible Planet and Satan Pit, TARDIS gone. Smith and Jones, another awesome episode. No TARDIS there.
No TARDIS,
42, one of your favourite episodes. I know he's cut off from the TARDIS. So it's just a perfect plot point. The TARDIS floating away looked a little bit ropey. Some of the bodies around. Again, a little bit ropey, but we mentioned it earlier. The CGI takes a huge step up in this episode.
I mean, the external shots of the Titanic, before when it's just kind of sailing around, I guess you call it, and then once it's been damaged and you see the debris coming off of it, they've done well there. They've done well, and that would have cost, especially back in 2008, that would have cost some money.
Oh, yeah, now I could probably knock it up on the editor. Do you know what I mean? But back in the day, that's hundreds of thousands, presumably. Do you know what I mean?
But what's interesting, we then get, of course, the host then comes to life, should we say.
Well, if we could backtrack a minute, we get the reason that I think this is the best episode ever. And it's when Rixton goes, "Why are we listening to you?" And that little bit, the Doctor in a tuxedo, surrounded by explosions. I'm the Doctor. I'm 903 years old. That 10-second clip, or however long it is, that's a trailer for all of Doctor Who. That alone. Do you know what I mean? That is just, I don't even know. It's just top tier fucking stuff.
Yeah. I've got to say, it was, to me, I mean, I can't say that it was that because, of course, Avengers came out after. But it was in the first Avengers film, where Captain America and Iron Man are there. He's like, "Oh, we'll take off the suit, why are you?" And he's like, "Billionaire philanthropist, playboy," that kind of thing. It's like that. It is just, it's cool. It is cool. That is. So, and of course, they've got these really creepy robots that they can obviously, eat or crush or snap in half or something like that. And they decide to use a frisbee.
It's an odd choice, isn't it?
A fucking frisbee, right? Which, by the way, I can't work out the lethality, if that's even a word, of said frisbee. Because there are times where it hits them, like when they're on the bridge bit, it hits the Doctor. And you're like, well, okay, that's the Doctor. Maybe he's got a special suit, or maybe he's a bit more hardy. But then it hits Mr. Copper. And I'm like, well, he's just a man. I'm like...
An ancient man as well, let's not forget. Do you know what I mean?
So does that mean that poor bloke down in engineering, the angel was just there, like, kind of several times, just fucking along, and it was just like, no.
Like, what a way to go. Fucking hell.
It kind of lost me a bit there. I was just like, oh, well, that's... I don't know. They're still creepy, but I just didn't understand the frisbee. I just feel like they could, even if they've done what what they call the mannequins, there's just little guns in the arms, just
It is, it's really strange, isn't it? Yeah, it is really, really strange. One of the creepiest bits is information, kill, feel like that's a bit like that's unnerving, because that's
Yeah.
like Skynet shit. Do you know what I mean? That
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like
100%.
we're not far off from that.
Yeah, it's just that it's very kind of, again, it's the whole uncanny valley. You know, the mouth is open, it's talking, but the lips aren't moving. And yet the
Yeah.
words we're saying is kill. And you're like,
It's
oh, that's
very odd.
done like that. Yeah, no, it's cool. Talking of cyborgs, though, we then get, of course, the bit where we have the cute discussion between Morgan and Foon where they say about the debt and everything like that as they're putting together they're trying to rewire the host. And of course, up top, we get Astrid and Bella Caponata. Bella? Yeah,
Anna
yeah,
Camerata. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wrote it down. And of course, they go up top, and he, I guess, gets tired or out of charge, maybe.
I've no
I,
idea.
I
The
don't
whole
know.
thing is so strange.
But they have that, they have that very cute conversation between Astrid and Bella Caponata. And I couldn't work out because it's a well-known fact that the X-Men comics, back when they were written as comics, were a metaphor for kind of black people and civil rights and everything like that. That was well known. And then when the movies came out in the early 2000s, they then adapted it with the time, so it was then to do with kind of gay people, and that's why about there's the lines about they say about, or could you just not try being a mutant, or things like that.
Right.
I couldn't work out if that was maybe a comment on what, whether it was to do with gay rights or whether it's to do with kind of black rights. Or I couldn't work it out because they kind of, like Astrid mentions about you can marry and you can do, and I'm like, I can't work out if it was just, if I was looking too deeply into it or whether it was actually a comment.
It's an odd one because it's so subtly, it's like it's almost unimportant to the plot. It's so subtly laid through. The only real reason it's there is to explain kind of why Max was kicked out of the company, I think, is the
Yeah,
reason that it's there. But I don't know. Knowing Russell's history, it would probably be related to the LGBTQ plus community, whether it's specifically about the gays. Saying the gays sounds wrong. Do you know what I mean?
it
It
does. It
sounds.
does, though, yeah. That's the thing, because I couldn't. The only thing they specifically mentioned about marrying, and I'm like, of course, at that time, don't think there were many, which is hard to believe, by the way. But I think it was only recently, like 2011 or 12 or something, he was actually able to get married as a gay person.
Which is unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, and I think, of course, this time in 2008, are we saying this one came out in? That wouldn't
Yeah, I
have
think
been
so, yeah.
that wouldn't have been about it. So I just feel like it could be. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But I do think you're right. I think that was all part of the point of, kind of bringing it out. So when it is revealed that Max Capricorn is a cyborg, it's like, oh, that's why he's angry and bitter.
But it is, yeah, it's just odd. Just having this, like, it's, for me, it's interesting to make him this little red alien and then make him a cyborg. Because it's like we already don't know what he is, being this weird little red thing. It's
Yeah,
just a weird added layer, but I suppose it gets them out of trouble because he's now an EMP. So,
yeah.
so it's just
Uh,
that bit is an odd plot point, I will concede.
it also seems like a bit of a security risk
Letting a
because,
cyborg on, yeah.
well, like, let's be real, right? That guy's got like a fucking weapon concealed. He's just like, bang, that's it. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? I can think of other things that go bang that would probably obviously be a very bit of an issue.
Well, yeah, thinking about it, what if the EMP was strong enough to cut the Titanic's engines? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was a strange one. It was a very strange one. But I do like him as a character, and of course, I love the fact that he kind of, well, he saves them. There's no way of sugarcoating it. He saves them by unleashing the EMP, like true fucking, I don't know what, Dragon Ball Z stuff. Just bang, and all, like, again, the special effects, they all fall down, and that's it. Which,
I want
yeah,
to know, when else has he used that?
maybe when he got into bed and he forgot to turn out the light.
Just that'll do until morning.
quickly plug himself in, plug himself in via USB, charge himself overnight, and he's cushy. He's ready to go again.
Yeah,
Needs new light bulb and new wiring, but yeah.
Just to play pranks on the missus when she puts Coronation Street on and he can't be asked. He's just like,
I'm just going to the bathroom.
So odd.
No.
So odd.
Yeah,
even the little proposal to Astrid is just a bit like, where's that come from? And
well, it's a bit weird, isn't it? I'm glad you said it. Almost felt, you know what it almost felt like? And this is really dreadful for you, but it almost felt like a Make-A-Wish kid.
Yes, it did. Honestly, I'm not being insensitive, but if it counts, if you could use your wish to marry Kylie Minogue, where can I sign up?
Yeah, do you reckon it's like a genie though? But you can't wish for someone to fall in love with.
Well, I'd just take a shag if I'm being honest. The love thing will come later. Forget about that.
Yeah.
God, I think we should move yeah, exactly. Let's move swiftly on before we upset the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
So of course we then get Foon's absolute just high on Foon welcome to Japanese, which is just, I don't get why she done it. I really don't. The only thing is I can think is, but I can't even say insurance fraud because the whole fucking episode was insurance fraud. And her other half, she's already due to benefit from a load of money. So I just tie it around something heavy apart from yourself.
Just push.
What if it flew? What if it could suddenly fly again?
Then it starts using her as like a conker.
That's a giant wrecking ball that comes in.
Let's be real, mate. Nothing was carrying that. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, I know that's an awful joke, but I think the two of their deaths genuinely, and I've seen it before, came as a surprise to me. Genuinely a little bit out of the blue. But you're right, it's a Deus Ex Machina. Before we get there, she timed it well because the Doctor uses this security protocol and then lands on one.
Yeah.
What if he hadn't have got that right and this guy, and he'd have just frisbeed his head off or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a good thing the Doctor stalled.
Yeah.
Food didn't just fucking go for it.
I never got to ask you the question.
Yeah, exactly. Wait a second. I love that you only get 3 questions, bro. It is used, especially later, is used so brilliantly to comic relief. It's an excellent little reprise from what's otherwise quite a depressing ending, to be fair.
And to be honest, it kind of closes up a big plot hole there because you could kind of go, well, hold on a minute. If the Doctor could ask all these questions, why didn't he just ask why they were doing it, what they were doing? Suddenly you get, even though it's shrouded in comic, kind of comic relief with the Doctor asking the questions and going, oh, that wasn't my question. It kind of, it plays it perfectly because it still adds that element of mystery there, which I really like. Yeah, and I think they've done very well there. And
it doesn't make any sense if you think about it. Why would you only allow 3 questions in your security protocol? But we're willing to give it a pass because it is the best episode of Doctor Who of all time.
And I do love that paradox question. With the bit where he's in the kitchen.
Oh, it is so brilliant.
It's just perfect. It is pure Doctor. It is just pure Doctor Who. He's on it. That's it. He goes, this is my question. Goes through it with logic and then just goes, am I right? And perfect.
He doesn't even need the question. That's how good the Doctor is at this point. Am I right? Like, you're not giving me any information. I'm just confirming that I'm legendary. Yeah, we get the weird CGI bridge battle thing. And then I like that the Doctor proceeds to just speed run the entire episode. He's just back over the bridge. He's back down the stairs. He's back through the kitchen and everything. And he then finds, as you mentioned, the host, and he does his 3 questions, even though they're not 3 questions. Brilliant bit. And then take me to your leader. Classic line. Yeah.
And the fact that he says he's always wanted to say that as well is brilliant. It is very brilliant. Yeah, no, that was quite cool, and I think that was probably my kind of, I don't know, the ending felt a bit rushed on this.
Really?
Well, it was just the fact, right, that they killed off three of the characters in the space of technically one scene. Three characters died in that scene with the bridge.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like,
who's the third
they were
character?
like,
Oh yeah, Banner Capalati. Yeah,
yeah. And then suddenly it's like, right, well, you have the screwdriver, which, by the way, would the doctor actually give the screwdriver to Brixton's?
I suppose what choice did he have?
Well, he could have given it to Mr. Copper or Doctor.
Why didn't he give it to Mr. Copper?
Exactly. And this is the I just, it didn't really tee up, and then suddenly they have this weapon that they have to charge, but then recharges itself every 60 seconds. It's like, well, if it recharges itself after every 60 seconds, or Baffa Capolata on the, you just plug it back into it, we'd be up and about. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little bit rushed towards the end, and it just, yeah, it was a strange one. It was a strange one, but I do like the questions though. I've got to say the questions I do like. And the take me to your leader, and then of course we do get the reveal that Max Capricorn is actually on the ship. Doesn't make any sense.
Why is he on the ship?
Why is he on the ship? Surely, if you're putting yourself at the crime scene, that's suspicious.
That's what I mean, because his whole plan is to get the board fired. But how is he ever going to explain being on the ship? Why is he not just watching this unravel from home?
Yes. You've got the technology to fly a fucking space Titanic. Surely you've got some technology to go, right, let's just do that.
It doesn't make any sense.
And then they go, oh, well, it's an indestructible box, so you'll be all right, and everything. Which, all right, that makes sense. But why does he have to be on the ship?
No, exactly. Why does he have to, I could get it. A black box, fine. Airplanes have a smaller version of them. Fine.
Yeah.
But why put yourself in it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so bizarre. I really don't know. I have the exact same note. Why is Max on the ship? I must admit, it's obviously just a man sat in a box, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a bit square.
It's quite square, but you have to have room for the man.
Yeah, I know, but let's be real. Like, if you're going to all that trouble to make him like a massive cyborg, surely you try and make it maybe a little bit more rounded. I guess it just looks like that's a cube. And I don't know, it didn't seem like you've got all this lovely, smooth architecture of the space Titanic and everything, and then you've just got a fucking box on wheels.
I actually, just thinking out loud, I think that kind of works. If the cyborg culture is so frowned upon and is so repressed and all that, it makes sense that they wouldn't have technology as cutting edge as, they wouldn't have access. Yeah. So maybe it is a bit, black market-esque. He's had to get it done. Yeah. Actually, I think that could kind of work in universe.
They never really explained why he became a cyborg.
No explanation there. It's all very vague.
It was just, I mean, he looked like he'd been fucked up. Like, pretty. I mean, he had a dodgy eye as well. Right?
He did have a dodgy eye, yeah.
I'm like, where's this come from? I bet someone fucking nicked his gold tooth as well.
Yeah. Maybe he did. Maybe he did just get the shit kicked out of him one day.
Yeah, but there was no explanation as to why he's a cyborg. It was just, oh, he's a cyborg, and that's the reason he got kicked off the thing. But it's like, well, surely you give a little bit. Like, even if there'd have been I don't know, the board denied him medical care or something like that.
Exactly.
And that's how he ended up as a cyborg, and that's why he's salty, because he kind of, it's a double jeopardy thing where he's now a cyborg because of the board, and the board won't let him back on there because he's a cyborg. Then they kind of screwed him over that way. But
I like that, and that's just a sentence as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, but I don't know. It's very, very weird. Almost as weird as Kylie Minogue driving a forklift without a fucking.
Well, I will just stop you there. There's two things I remember when this first aired, because I genuinely, this is actually my favorite episode of Doctor Who, and it has been since it came out. So immediately I went on and put it was called Doctor Who Confidential, like the behind the scenes thing that they did. And the only two things I remember from it is one, it's not Kylie Minogue driving because she doesn't have a license. It's her stunt double. I don't know why that stuck with me so much. And then the second, I remember vividly, so they explain how they do the kissing with the translucent Kylie Minogue at the end. And I just remember them saying David Tennant had to kiss her. So they do the shot. And then Kylie Minogue had to walk out of the shot. And then they carry on filming David Tennant just standing there. And then they splice the two together. Don't know why those two things have stayed with me. But it's an odd ending. Why is the forklift there? Okay, we see it carrying the angels earlier. But why is he on the same deck as the angels' maintenance? Why is he there at all? Thank fuck he's in a wheelchair. But then why not just make it a wheelchair? So many questions.
Why didn't she just jump out?
Why didn't she just jump out?
Well,
and yet,
because they established.
Well, she falls out of it, doesn't she? She's then falling.
I don't think it was. Like, the thing is, I audibly groaned because there's a bit where the Max is like, stop her. And the angels are like, it's fucking frisbee time here. And then he's like, oh no, they've cut the brake line. And all the time. Oh no, they've done it. They've done it. And I just, I'm just like, but then if they cut the brake line, she could have just accelerated. That thing wasn't going to stop. She could have just rolled out.
No, exactly. I do agree with that. Genuinely, quite heartbreaking. Watching the Doctor scream whilst he's trapped from the angels. I mean, I'm getting Doomsday vibes from it. I know that might be quite sacrilegious to say, but it's a similar sort of vibe,
The problem is my notes then go into too dramatic, way too dramatic. What's the point of the slow walk? This is where it completely broke down for me. Like, I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that, but it just was over the top. The bit where they've got Mr. Copper and fucking Rick's the display blank cuddling each other again. And I'm like, oh, why? Like, they've gone from, I wouldn't say it was completely serious. It wasn't, there was kind of comedy edges there and everything like that. But I just fucked it. I really do. And then there's the bit where he's just slowly, dramatically walking down the corridor as the sparks go up. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
that's a minute you could have saved right there. Like, there is no need for the Doctor to walk down a hallway with a load of sparks.
There is every need to have that shot because it's fucking awesome. Even the way he locks arms with the angels. And listen, they hit the ceiling at 100 miles an hour to go through it, and he's just fine. And it doesn't make any sense.
No,
but it's fucking awesome. They put that would protect
stuff
you.
Like that, that's it. So Space Jesus becomes Superman. I like the whole kind of becoming the new leader of the host.
I do have a question on that. It says that command falls to the next highest authority. He made a huge deal literally 10 minutes before about, whoa, I'm a stowaway, so you can't kill me, so you have to take me to your leader. Why is a stowaway the next authoritative figure?
I think I know, and I think it's because Max Capricorn says something about, you would be my number 2 or something like that.
Right. Okay. That then works.
He says about like, it's a shame that I have to kill you because you would have been my next number 2 or something like that. I think that's where that comes
from. Maybe that's registered something in there. Yeah.
In there, yeah. But no, you're right, because technically it goes to the captain. The captain's dead, so it'd be the only surviving crew member, which is so big is upstairs.
Exactly, yeah. Stowaway would be bottom of the fucking list of authority. But anyway, I can't believe we're not on the... This, for me, is like the Transformers films are not good films. Yeah. That's a fact. But there's just something about watching them that just gives you a giddy feeling. It's the reason they make so much money. It's the reason I will continue to watch them. And watching, Michael Bay and his lens flare and slow-mo king. And this is pretty much that. And it's so nice seeing the Doctor as the actual hero that he is. Like, this is his superhero moment, really.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I just think that it was over dramatic, far too over dramatic. I don't like.
The only bit I think is over dramatic is having the Queen running out of Buckingham Palace and with her corgis. That was a bit nonsense, but again, I kind of love it. I kind of love it.
You know what? I did love the Save the Corgis thing,
Yeah.
but not as much as I love the Alonso.
War classic. Come on. Two
Alonso,
seasons
Alonso.
in the making. Alonso. Brilliant.
I'm going to be shouting that throughout Formula One this season.
I like it. Yeah.
Just while I'm sat down, I'm just going to be screaming at my TV, Alonso, you know. But I mean, I like the whole dramatic thing where the one place the ship is going to crash in London happens to be the only person in fucking London.
Of course it is. But even the Doctor's like, for fuck's sake, why did it have to be this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I just love that they established that right when they first go down to London. Because they go, oh, well, it's only the Queen that's in London.
Yeah. It is just, it's pure, it is over dramatic. It is nonsense.
At that point, I went, well, what happened to Prince Philip?
Save the corgis, fuck Philip.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We all know that Prince Andrew was safe on Epstein's Island by now. You know,
Right. I will admit, I audibly gasped. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. That was a bit like, for fuck's sake. But I'm absolutely here for it. And like, infamously, I have a problem with Doctor Who episodes when they're just action driven. This works for me, honestly. I had so much fun with this.
I mean, it's a strange one because at the end of the day, yeah, you said before you don't like action, like no, not the last Christmas special, the Christmas special before
with the stupid sword fight,
the sword thing, no, it's an interesting one.
It just works for me, but so that's sort of, they pull it up, they just use they say they use the atmosphere to reignite the star drive,
which kind of makes sense though if you think about it. Well, it does and it doesn't, because
it makes sense if you think about it at a certain level, but then if you go too far, it doesn't make any sense.
Because you think, well, oxygen helps ignite the kind of the engine, and that's why it causes it there, and there's no oxygen in space. But then you're like, well, how that means it's got to be a flame. So how does a flame burn in space where there's no oxygen?
Who knows?
That's magic.
Who gives a fuck? Just let it happen. But the real ending of this is, and I genuinely thought he was going to save her, is the saying goodbye to Astrid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, the ghost of Ben, I mean, Kylie Minogue, was, I don't, is this the first companion across all, like, up to what we see now? Is this the first companion that's actually died?
Because New Who, classic Who companions died, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so in New Who, it's the first companion, and I'm going to call her a companion because she was.
For sure, 100%.
But it's interesting. I mean, almost as interesting as how the fuck do you actually kiss a ghost? I'm not sure how that works, but it's interesting to see the Doctor kind of grieve, I guess.
Yeah, well, he's lost, is what's happened. Yeah,
and like with the console, he's like kind of like wafting away the smoke, and it's quite sad to watch. Like if you was to see a kid drop an ice cream, something like that, you feel bad.
I'm telling you, if you lost Kylie Minogue, you were gonna you'd be upset. Exactly. I do find it brilliant though that who was the last person we saw him get this upset about?
Rose.
And he's had a companion in between Martha. Like, this Doctor in particular so has a type. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
I mean, look, to be honest, I will stick up for Martha. I will say there wasn't really any time that Martha was in real danger, the Doctor. I think the only time there was 42, where they get jettisoned out in the life pod.
Yes, yeah.
And he looks pretty, he's like, I'll save, and he's put on the window and everything like that.
Famously, your most favourite episode so far, yeah.
Oh, I loved it. Couldn't wait. I wish I was in that. But no, that's the only time I think we've really seen Martha in some kind of danger. I don't think there's really been anything else, even in the season finale. It was the Doctor that was technically in danger, not Martha. So I think that if you look at what Rose has been through, I think Rose has had more near-death experiences than Martha.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I don't think Martha had the chance to be in a near-death experience for the Doctor to react the way that he did. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Could be reading it too much. But yeah, it's, as I said, it's sad, I guess. But I get the whole Force Ghost thing. That they're particles there, they're particles of that person. But they opened a window on a spaceship. I don't get that one.
Yeah, that's, you can't even do it on planes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I reckon
it just works, though. Do you know what I mean? Just letting her go out, see the stars. It just works. I mean, I would actually argue, genuinely, that he's now kept her in a perpetual state of torture, because when she's come back, she's like, I'm falling. I'm fucking falling. He's now damned her to an eternity of feeling like she's falling. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I suppose those particles are still technically falling, don't they?
But it's more just the fact that she consciously thinks that she's falling. Forget about what the atoms did. But it is genuinely lovely. And I think Doctor Who has a thing where you can't just kill off a companion. That tends to be a recurring theme without spoiling anything. You can't just kill off and have them be dead. I think there may be some rules in place, maybe for like the rating system or something. I think it's lovely. I think it's very sad. I think we were fucking robbed of a companion. And it's mental to think that Kylie Minogue at the minute is the biggest pop star in the fucking world. She was on fucking Doctor Who. How cool is that?
That is a strange one, isn't it? Because would you have put Kylie Minogue and Doctor Who together?
So I need somebody in the comments to tell me how this came about. Why is she in Doctor Who?
Kylie Minogue wanted to get into acting, couldn't quite break in Hollywood, and went, hey, London.
Are you joking? Kylie Minogue started in acting. She was on Neighbours. That's how she became famous.
I thought it was Danny Minogue.
No, Danny Minogue is the sister. Kylie and who's the guy? Kylie and Jason Donovan. That's it. They both started out in Neighbours. Yeah, really? Yeah, that's how she got her break.
I don't know if the I genuinely didn't.
I think it's one of the other reasons that I like this episode so much is because Rixton survives, and if you looked at it from a literary point of view, Rixton is the first one that you would say would die. I think this episode does a really good job at sending a message to kids that sometimes the bad guys live, sometimes the wrong, Mr. Copper almost justifies it. But I think that's a really important message because in Doctor Who, it's fairy tale-esque in that the bad guys always lose and the good guys always bad. But to have Rixton survive, I think is a hugely important, underrated part of this story.
The thing I like about the writing for Rixton at the end is he thanks the Doctor. Big old hug. Doctor, thank you so much for saving me. Don't worry, I've sold those shares. I'm going to be filthy rich. I'm like, that is a man who has stared death down in the face and has gone, I'll never change it. It's like Alan at the end of at the start of The Hangover 3. And he's just like, I remember what he said to me. Never change. Never. Like, I just love it. I just think it's a testament to his character and the fact that an arsehole will never change.
No, exactly.
There are some people that will see the light and then change their ways, but for that guy, there is no redemption. He is just that's the way he is, and unfortunately, in life, that is what happens sometimes. You know, there's I can think of plenty of stuff that I thought, well, I can't believe that's happened or not happened. You know,
No,
but
for
yeah,
sure.
no, it's an interesting one. And then, of course, we get a really, really sweet thing with is it Mr. Copper or Doctor Copper?
Mr. Copper, yeah, Mr. Copper.
Mr. Copper. We
So
get
we
that
get
really
another
sweet.
fake snow outing that I know you're fond
Yeah.
of.
I can't believe it. I genuinely thought, I was like, oh, look, it's real snow. And then he's just like, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this is part of the ship. And I'm like, oh. But then the Doctor even makes a joke about it.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
what, they're going to be real snow? You know?
I like that. Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
I have a note here that's just, what does £1,000,000 get you nowadays?
I have a similar note in the fact that sci-fi is a nice break from reality. The fact that he goes, I've got money. I'm like, I wish I had money.
But it's more the sense that, like, okay, £1,000,000 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. Is it enough to completely start a life with no identity? He's got dropped in central London. It'll be hard pressed to find a flat for less than 1,000,000. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know. So house price is 2008, should we say?
oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but let's convert it nowadays. What does £1,000,000 get you?
Well, I don't know, but house prices fell by 15.9% in 2008.
Oh, of course, this was the Great Recession, wasn't it? 2008. So
Yeah.
it would depend on if he held out and waited for the crash, or if he bought at the highest point that it's been in history.
Wow. The average, so this is back in 2008, right? They said that the average price of a UK home had fallen by £29,000 to 153,048.
That's pretty
That's
insane.
incredible. Wow.
That is pretty mad, actually.
Why was I not born earlier? I could have bought two houses, you know. I got fucking mortgage on two of them. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so maybe you could start.
Maybe. I just don't think it's that much money in today's day and age.
No, not
Doctor, I will make you proud, he says as he walks off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to do this in a way so as not to spoil things. I don't really think it spoils things. In an upcoming episode, there's a network that's introduced. We theorized last week, or me and Brad theorized last week, that it may have been the Archangel network still in the sky.
Oh, okay.
It is confirmed that Mr. Copper uses this £1,000,000 to set up this network that's about to be used in an upcoming episode. So wait for that. This would have been a much better conversation had Brad have been here and we could bounce off a little bit. So I obviously can't tell you and you don't know what's happening.
Brad can be Iron Man quickly. There we go.
Brad can be Iron Man. Sorted. There we go. So yeah, just have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting actually, because it's almost like the conversation we had about the Harriet Jones thing. The Doctor.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. So I just think that it's very sweet, and I like the whole thing about I'll remember her as well. I mean, I'm not really sure why he's. But
why not? She sacrificed his life to save the Doctor, to save the day, to save the Earth.
Yeah. I guess, but I don't know. I just, it's I do like that I'll make you proud thing. And it's a horrible thing because you know that what he's doing is in what he thinks is good. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm doing it for the Doctor. I'm doing it to make him proud. When really, it's not doing well. It's not doing good for anyone. Yeah. An interesting episode.
I think it's the best. Okay, so I think I asked you this question a couple of times before. Where would you tell someone to start off if you were watching Doctor Who? If you wanted to get them involved in Doctor Who? Obviously, the starting point is episode 1, season 1. But if you wanted to get someone hooked on Doctor Who, I think this is the episode. I think you show them this, and then you say, right, now that you're hooked, start at the beginning and come through it.
That's a tough.
This, for me,
it's a good episode.
It's a good episode. It's the perfect advert for Doctor Who. Like I said at the start, it's got everything in it. Aliens, CGI, adventure, companions, the Doctor, the TARDIS. It's got, it ticks off. Or I agree, it might be missing a bit of heart. It might be missing a bit of common sense. There's no lore, there's no backstory. Yeah. But for me, just as this this is what Doctor Who can do. Watch this episode and then let's fucking do them all. I think for me, that's perfect.
I don't think you're wrong. The only thing I'm going to say, though, I need to watch season 4 before I can make that decision. Because the best thing about this episode is there are no companions at all. Even though Kylie Minogue is technically the companion, there are no companions at all. You look at the previous Christmas episodes; they've all had a companion in there. So the way that I'm thinking,
I would just technically the one with Catherine Tate was a similar thing. She was a plug and play companion. Yeah.
I suppose technically that, but I guess there's no kind of hold-ups or anything like that in terms of the Doctor moving on from Rose or the Doctor. You know what I mean? There's no kind of like hang up on the companion.
It's a real standalone. You don't need to know anything going in. Yeah.
There's no mention of the Doctor missing Rose or the Doctor missing Martha or kind of anything. There's no mention of anything previous apart from the 3 previous Christmases.
Briefly get a mention. Yeah.
That's it. It's really going to depend how season 4 goes, because if season 4 then goes, oh well, the Doctor's still missing Rose and the Doctor's still doing this and everything like that, I wouldn't say it's a good start, because I still would believe that you need to go back and see the first. Even would I say you need to miss season 1? Probably not, because the first episode about Rose is important, and I do feel. I always feel like the Doctor is a bit more vulnerable with Rose because she went through his regeneration process with him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I think that's why. But I don't know. We'll see what season 4 goes. If season 4 is it's a bit more of a reset, like a soft reset, where the Doctor just has a new companion. We're going forward. That's it. Then fine. Start here and then go from there. But if it then goes back to the Doctor still moping about Rose and going, oh, I miss Rose, and then I would say start from the beginning.
Jack, you are in for such a fucking treat. You are in for such a fucking treat. But I would just like to backtrack 1 second. I'm not saying start here and go on from here. I'm saying show them this episode, tell them this is what Doctor Who is, and then say, now that you're hooked, start from episode 1, season 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is like a teaser. This is like a moose-boosh of Doctor Who.
Yeah, no, I guess that would make a bit more sense, because it's an interesting episode. So, yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
So, love it or hate it?
I still love it. I still love it. I don't hate it. I just think it was a bit overdramatic for my liking. But then sometimes you need a bit of overdramatic. So,
what's life without a bit of drama?
Exactly. I think I know the answer, but love it or hate it.
Absolutely fucking. Oh, teaser. It's as good as it gets. It's Doctor Who at its absolute finest. It's for me, it is, and it's probably just nostalgia. It's probably just the fact that Kylie Minogue is in it. But it's as good as Doctor Who gets if you just wanted to drop in and watch an hour of Doctor Who. If you've got the time to put in and watch the previous seasons and stuff, then of course, there's going to be episodes like Human Nature and Family of Blood, Satan Pit and Impossible Planet, all of the finales,
Blink.
Just Blink. But Blink, I would say, is a plug and play episode. You can just drop in and watch Blink. I don't think Blink is as good as this, personally.
I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy Blink.
Better or worse than this episode?
Oh, better.
Right, and on that note, we're ending the podcast. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Yeah.
No, I do know what you mean.
Yeah. No,
Did you watch the Next Time trailer, which is a season trailer?
Yeah. And that's interesting, because I'm assuming that back in 2008, that was the thing that was there, yeah? Or was that just...
yes, we did have this. Yes, we did have this.
So that's very interesting, the fact that they have obviously already filmed season 4.
Yeah. Don't forget, season 3 would have finished around the middle of the year.
Yeah.
And then we have to wait until Christmas. And then then season 4 would have aired in like April, May time, similar to what it is this year. So the Christmas special is closer to the next. Technically, if you go on IMDb, this Christmas special is season 4, not season 3, because it's closer to it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Catherine Tate. I like Catherine Tate in The Office. I did not like her in the Christmas special, and I'm assuming she's coming back as a companion, which I'm not really excited for. I thought she was very shouty, she was very loud. Yeah, I just don't respond well to that, really. That's very intense, and I don't like intense. Like, I like someone that's like the Doctor, smart, all right, a little bit kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Energetic, but
Yeah.
she's just very. I feel like they kind of play on and I can say this because I'm from Essex and nearby where she grew up, but I just hate the fact that they even do it in the office where they go, "I'm from Basildon, Essex," innit? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I know I speak like that, but like, I hate the fact that that's how they base her character on, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you're probably a lot better than that, and we're not all loud from Essex. Look at Josh, he's from Essex. He's not
I
loud.
know I'm barely Essex at all. You're in for a treat, is all I'm
Yeah.
going to say.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to revisiting it as well.
And the Rhino Police, I can't remember for the life of them what their name, the
The
names of them are.
Jadoon.
The Jadoon, that's it. Yeah, are they? Because they look like there was a Jadoon armor.
Can't remember. I think what you're talking about are the Sontarans, which is a classic Who villain that comes back. Yeah, I mean, I can't really remember what was in the next time trailer there, so I don't want to say anything and ruin it, except for we get in 2008. Well, this is 2007. This is Christmas 2007. The first on-screen appearance in Doctor Who of Peter Capaldi. Who's excited?
Yay!
I'm fucking gassed. Not as the Doctor, which I'm sure will confuse you. Yeah, well, we'll get there. JP, it's been a pleasure doing season 3 of Doctor Who with you.
Another season in the books. How scary is that?
I don't want any explanation. I don't want any justification. In one word or one number on a scale of 1 to 10, season 3?
8. An 8 out of 10.
And on that note, thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for coming. We hope you enjoyed season 3 of Doc Who Pod. Thank you for all your likes, all your comments, all your subscriptions, everything. We hope you enjoyed this. If we even release it, I've been going through this thinking I'm going to have a shitter of a time editing this. So will I even release it? I don't know. What a surprise if I do. JP, anything to add?
No, thank you as always, guys. Let us know if we do release this on video, which I kind of hope we do, because I think we've got a pretty professional setup here. Brad thinks that as well. But no, thank you so much, guys. We really do appreciate it. I mean, I can't believe with 3 seasons down so far. It has flown, and they always say that time flies when you're having fun. So
it really does. Yeah, it really does.
But no, thank you so much. Thank you for the love of social media as well, as Josh said. On Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We'll be back on TikTok. I know Brad's got some stuff in the pipeline as well. But no, thank you for the engagement, and keep recommending us to your friends. If there's stuff that we've missed, or there's stuff that you disagree with, or you agree with, let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter, let us know on Instagram, because we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Especially me as first time. If I've missed something or I've not misread something, I want to know about it. So yeah.
Thank you, JP. Just added to that, if you are enjoying us, just leave us a little review or a little rate wherever you listen to us. That's what helps us the most. So thank you very much, guys. This has been way too long for an hour-long Christmas special. Yeah. So on that note, thanks for listening. And thank you, JP. And adios, amigos.